Hello everyone, I'm Shenyuan Hu, the founder of Joint Commonwealth Fund or JCF. JCF is a crypto index fund with the goal to make basic income universal. Okay, so in this episode of JCF Weekly, we're going to discuss whether financial or banking industry is the next to be impacted by technology. Okay, so you probably are aware that Amazon has many industries has already been, massively impacted by technology, especially software technology, such as in retail space. Amazon, although it started by selling just books, but with the success of selling books online, on scale massively, they have gone into, all different corners of the retail market. They are selling now, pretty much everything imaginable that you can buy in a retail store. And as a result, it's a lot of the bookstores or small shops, they are disappearing, they are because they cannot operate or compete as efficiently as Amazon. Okay, that is something that has happened in retail, but there are still some industries that are still pretty much, very traditional, like banking, education, medicine, medical, services. And but whether technology will cross and maybe impacted those industry on a mass scale, this is something we can certainly observe. And today we like to talk about banking and financial services. So to discuss whether banking will be impacted by technology, we have to first think about a bit about what's the nature of banking. So banks, they do three main things in general. For the first thing is they store or keep your money assets safe. Okay, so you probably have a lot of money, but you don't want to store at home because you can get burned, you can get stolen. So the one of the core value of banks is that they can store your money safely, right, in their computers or in their safe. And the second thing is they facilitate a transfer of money. Okay, because let's say you want to buy a real estate, a house, it could cost millions of dollars. You're not going to pay that by cash or by coins, right, or by gold nuggets. So banks facilitate this by they can do mass amount of transfer, of course, for a fee, right? But this is what they do. And the third thing they do is they do lending. Okay, so what does the bank do with the money you keep with them? Basically, the bank lends it out to some borrowers so that the money can be put into good use to maybe invest in some factory, in company, to generate additional cash and economic progress for society. So the banks will lend out this money for people, and they will pay some interest back to the bank, which the bank in turn cut a percentage of that to the lender as well. Okay, so that's the basic model and the fundamentals of what the bank does. The three things, which is storing your money, custody, and transfer of your money, and also the bank lends out or you can borrow the money. So those are the three main functions and value of a bank. Now the second question we like to explore is, can these things be better facilitated by technology? Okay, so I am actually a person who's afraid to go to banks because banks are typically actually I did have a very pleasant experience, I think, while I was in Canada. But in Taiwan, the banks, I would say it's very slow, ineffective. Like at one point I want to register a new account to transfer money to, and just to set up add the new account number took me 1 hour. So it's 20 minutes in waiting and 40 minutes in verifying my documents and all that. Okay, I mean, it took me a whole hour to just set up one account to be able so I can transfer money in the future. Now this is, I think, not atypical for many people. So are there better ways to do this? Well, definitely. technologies, especially like softwares, how you build websites, systems, agile development approach. Like our company, my first company, which is a software company called Immunology, we actually developed what's called an extreme agile approach, where we can deliver system prototypes in 1 to 2 weeks of time and deliver to clients on a daily basis. Okay, so this is like probably at least 5 to 10 times faster than the traditional process. These processes, tools already exist in other industries, not used by the financial banking sector, but in the industry, in other areas of industry, other software industries, or like retailers or e-commerce. There are already very mature technologies there. So certainly the tools are there, the processes, the know-how are there. Okay, so the second question, tools are already there. Now, are there better ways to do what the banks are traditionally doing? Okay, in terms of the storing, the transferring, and also the lending, borrowing of money? Well, certainly yes. It's called blockchain and cryptocurrency. Okay, because of the appearance of cryptocurrencies, right now to store a massive amount, let's say $1 billion worth of cryptos, you can just store it in a USB disk, a small disk. And if you are afraid that it may not be safe, well, there's right now actually professional custodian service and technologies and tools. For example, one that's offered by Ledger, it's the same quality grade as what banks are using. So essentially the funds cannot get transferred unless there are 3 to 5 people out tabbing in their tablet with passports. They have to be agree at the same time, more or less within 10 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever you define. And that's when the fund can get transferred. Okay, so there are very safe ways to store, the crypto assets now. And to transfer the crypto assets, well, that can be done in like minutes, and at most tens of minutes, and with much less a fee than traditional bank transfers between different banks or like overseas transfers. And whether you can do borrow and lending, and yes, there are already, if you don't know already, there are some called crypto banks. So one, for example, is called Celsius Network. You can Google this, you can look it up. Its founder Alex basically was doing voice over IP previously, and now he's working on what he called money over IP, which he sees this as the next major thing. So Celsius Networks is just like a bank. You can put your crypto assets to store in your account at Celsius, and they will lend it to someone else, some borrower who pays at an interest, and Celsius will return a big chunk of that interest back to the lender. Okay, so essentially their thesis is this whole process, can be done much more effectively, efficiently, verifiable. You can do the identity verification through KYC, know your customer procedures online, so you don't have to go to any banks. So this bank just exists on the internet. It doesn't have a physical storefront. You don't have to go there, you don't have to wait. You can verify your identity very quickly. You can transfer your funds very quickly. You can lend and borrow all very quickly and efficiently. Okay, so I mean, there are already crypto banks out there now, and likely there's going to be more. Now, so why is the disruption to banking hasn't happened yet? Okay, now, of course, there are many reasons, but I think the most important one is that banking is a highly regulated market industry. So governments have strict requirements as to the capital required, the legal, accounting departments, all that, the paperwork's required in order to set up a bank. So that this is actually a business out of reach of most people. Okay, or even if you are a small person, you're intelligent, if you don't have the capital, you cannot play the banking game. Okay, but with the emergence of cryptocurrency and blockchain, that may change. Because for most jurisdictions and countries now, right now, actually, most governments, they don't have a strict regulations regarding cryptocurrency operations. And you can do that legally in most countries. So likely there will be many, these new institutions. In fact, like crypto exchange, there are already over 20,000 of them in the world, across different countries, and more ones are adding up. And these are, mostly just funded by companies, some startups and funders, maybe just a small group of people, and they are operating, right? Now, you might ask whether that's safe. Well, as to the safety question, I think Andreas, he's one of the cryptocurrency advocate or Bitcoin educator. I think he said something quite succinct, correctly, which is the best protection is actually education, not regulation. Because we all see, even if there are companies that can pass the scrutiny of regulation of SEC, they go onto the stock exchange, they could still be a fraud, a massive fraud company that are cheating people of their money, right? We still see that kind of like Enron or WorldCom in the past. So the question really is about, whether people are more informed and educated, and that may be a better protection against fraud than regulation. So, well, with the advent of cryptocurrency and blockchain, potentially there's going to be a new type of financial system that's going to develop. And, right now it's only a small number of people who know and who are using cryptos. But if as more people understand their values and are using them, for example, if Facebook's Libra project succeed, then potentially billions of people will start using cryptocurrencies for exchange, for trading. Then these crypto banks might start to flourish. And who knows, maybe one just crypto bank will become the next Amazon and, impacting massively to the banking financial sector. Then some, just like what Amazon did to the retail store. Okay, so this is what we like to share for this week's JCF Weekly. And of course, I think that will be a more effective, efficient future for us, and also, better customer experience as, financial transactors. So if you like our content, please go to our channel to subscribe. You can like us in Facebook, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. And essentially, JCF is a crypto index fund. We're aiming towards making basic income truly universal. So we invest in the top 10 cryptocurrencies. That's a very safe approach for crypto investment. And we also redistribute the profits so that it's not just a rich gets richer design or service, but we actually want to bridge the wealth gap. So if you are interested to learn more, please go to our official website, jcf.world, to learn more. All right, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.